My passion has always been, put it in two words, analysis, where are we, and advocacy, what should we say and what should we be doing. And most of my books have one of those two themes in them. So some are analyzing the problems of the church, and some are analyzing the problems of the culture. But at a certain point, you have to speak. You have to address what's there. Now, as I understand advocacy, or the old word apologetics, you don't start by putting out a Christian answer. You have to start by listening and loving people enough to listen to where they are. And then when you discover where they are, what Jesus called the treasure of their heart, what makes them really tick, then a Christian answer is inappropriate. People are only listen to the good news when they're in a bad situation. But most people don't know they're in a bad situation. So they have to be pressed out to see the inadequacies and eventually the bankruptcy of their own situation. So, for example, the classic Old Testament case is Elijah talking to the prophets of Baal. 850 false prophets, and he has the royal court, the power, against him. And the people, the ordinary people, sitting on the fence. He doesn't say, come back to God, or Israel will fall apart, like some preachers would today. He says quite daringly, if Baal is God, follow Baal. Now he can only do that because he knows Baal is not God. And the harder they try to follow Baal, they hit their heads against the wall. And eventually when they're stuck, he says, let me show you that the Lord is God, and the fire falls. You remember the story. Now, we've got to do the equivalent of that today. Don't immediately give a Christian answer. Press people to the logic of what they say they believe, because we know that it's inadequate, because it's not finally true, and at a certain point they will see its bankruptcy. And at that point, the biblical answer, or the Jewish and Christian answer, will be adequate where theirs is inadequate. So we've got to have the courage to press them out, whether they're atheists or whether they're, say, cultural Marxists or whatever it is. So I think we've got to have a much more biblical view of advocacy, or what the old term was, apologetics.